Welcome back. You're still tuned into Market Fatafat, a show where we discuss all the stocks that are buzzing in trade today. But before we do that, let's put the spotlight on the insurance sector then. And on to an ET Now exclusive. The long-standing dispute over cashless health insurance might finally be resolved. According to sources, IRDAI is monitoring the suspension very closely. Anurag Shah, my colleague, is now joining us with more details on this. Anurag, take it away.
Issue of cashless treatment suspension by major hospitals is likely to be resolved soon, and as per our sources, insurance regulator IRDAI is also monitoring this issue. Insurance companies are in touch with the hospitals and hospitals association to find a mutual beneficial terms and condition to resolve this issue, because previously hospital association has announced that there are 15,000 hospitals will disallow cashless treatment services for Bajaj Alliance customers, and they have also warned few other insurance companies, because hospitals are saying that terms and conditions by insurance companies and the rates quoted by insurance companies are much below the rates which hospitals are charging. So these are the issue which are the deadlock for disagreement between hospitals and insurance companies. On the other side, we have spoken to insurance industry also, and insurers are saying that these are the tactics by hospitals to delay the common empanelment, and as per agreement, hospitals cannot deny cashless treatment to the policyholders and to the customers. So both the sides are working to resolve the issue, and we have seen that Hospital Association announced that from 1st of September, 15,000 hospitals under their association will not give the cashless treatment. They have also warned a few other insurance companies also. But now the situation is under the monitor of insurance regulator IRDAI, and this issue will be resolved because hospital, insurance company and regulator, none of them want that policyholder, the genuine policyholder, should suffer.
Right, let's move on and get on board. Osho Krishan is the Chief Manager in Technical and Derivative Research, Angel One, who's joining us on the technicals, and of course Rabinder is joining us back from the research team. Let's come to you, Osho, then. Hi, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. Osho, your first stock that you've picked out for us is Nykaa. In fact, Nykaa today is buzzing away in trade. It's hit its 52-week high today, up and away 2.5% in trade. Tell us, does the positive momentum stay intact? Because Nykaa is one of the 8 new age tech stocks that has been doing well.
Very good afternoon. Firstly, thank you for having me at the show. Well, yes, no doubt, Nykaa has been performing very well in the last 3 trading weeks. From the zone of nearly 200, it has retested its breakout around the zone of 200 and again have seen a very strong momentum. Now the counter have even surpassed its previous swing high, which was nearly 225 on the weekly time frame chart. So overall, the technical setup is very robust, and I expect that the momentum can continue in the counter till the zone of 255 in the short-term perspective, while on the medium-term perspective, the range still hovers between the zone of 210 to 265 to 270. So that will be the immediate trading range for the counter, while on the higher end, I expect that 250-55 can be seen on a very immediate basis in this counter.
Okay, so 250, 255, those are the levels that we need to keep an eye out on as far as Nykaa is concerned. But Rabinder, you have picked up Coal India for years. Tell us, what is the news flow as far as this company is concerned?
Well, as Coal India is in focus after the company has signed a MOU with Madhya Pradesh government and State Mining Corporation, and the agreement inked on August 23, which is aimed to explore and develop critical minerals in the state. This marks as a strategic step for Coal India to diversify beyond coal, supporting India's push for securing mineral supply vital for high-tech and green technologies, while also boosting Madhya Pradesh resource development and growth. So back of this news flow, Coal India is in focus and the stock is up more than 1.5%.
All right, moving on then to the next counter that is in focus, and that is JSW Steel, that has received a 1,473 crore demand notice from the government of Orissa for the matter related to Jejang iron ore block. On the back of that, the JSW Steel is in focus. It has recovered from the day's lowest point in the morning. In fact, that is seeing some buying traction right now. That's trading up 0.5% in trade right now.
Okay, so that's JSW Steel for you, but let's also put the spotlight on CG Power then. Osho, you've picked up this counter for us. Tell us, what do the charts suggest for this one?
CG Power has been into a very strong consolidation around the cluster of moving average near the zone of 670 to 680 kind of a zone. But in the recent few months, the counter has seen a very strong consolidation that might be looked forward as a strong base formation for the counter. And now the counter seems ready for a kind of a breakout in the coming period. So I expect that in the coming future, there is a high possibility for the counter to test the zone of 760 to 780 from short to medium term point of view. Although 700 will be a critical zone, and any breakout above the zone of 700 can provide a very strong momentum in the counter. So one should definitely keep this counter in their watch list. The time we witness a kind of a breakout or a testing the zone of 700, one should definitely try to buy the counter or accumulate the counter at those levels. And I am expecting 770 to be tested in the very short duration. So definitely a buy or keep a radar on this counter for the time being.
Okay, so 770, that's the a number that you need to keep an eye out on as far as CG Power is concerned. But let's also put the spotlight on railway sector and Titagarh Rail in particular in focus on the back of an order win. So the company has won orders to the tune of 91 crores, although the quantum is very small. This is from Banaras Locomotive Works. So on the back of this order win, the stock of course has given up most of that morning gains, but despite that, sitting with gains of nearly 0.6% as we speak. And as I mentioned, the quantum is not much, but despite that, sentimentally positive for this stock.
Alright, moving on then to Bajaj Auto, that is in focus. Rabinder, tell us, why have you picked out Bajaj Auto for us? What's the news flow here?
Well, as a company has announced that the supply of its electric scooter Chetak has resumed across all dealerships after the successfully overcoming constraints caused by the global rare earth magnet availability, and in recent weeks temporary supply constraint linked to the international component availability has moderate deliveries, and the sustains and the growth demand for Chetak added for further pressure on supply. Company said that with this production restored ahead of the schedule, Bajaj Auto reaffirms its commitment to ensure that every Chetak customers enjoy the unmatched reliability, performance and style of the Life Group scooter, and the production and shipment recommended on August 20 marking a faster than anticipated return to full capacity. Further, Bajaj Auto has secured sufficient supply of rare earth magnets and other key materials to ensure the availability during the upcoming festival season. So back of this news flow, Bajaj Auto is in focus and the stock is holding a gain of more than 0.5%.
Okay, so Bajaj Auto sitting with gains of nearly 0.7% as we speak. But let's also put the spotlight on IGL or Indraprastha Gas Limited. The stock is up nearly 2.5% as we speak. Osho, tell us, at 212, where do you see the stock headed from the current levels?
See, IGL is again a breakout counter. There has been a very strong consolidation in this counter around the zone of 205 in the past 3 trading weeks, but in today's trading session we have seen a kind of a spurt in volume and prices, both the terms, and the counter have surged above the short-term moving average. So technically it is looking very lucrative, and in the short-term duration I expect that it might test the zone of 220, 222 in a very short-term duration, and if it even breaches the zone, then we can see continuation towards 230. But 222 will be the first target that one can expect in the short-term period, while 202 to 205 will be providing very strong cushion to any kind of profit booking in the coming future.
Alright, that's IGL on the charts. So let's move on to the next counter in focus. That's KPIT Tech. Motilal Oswal has initiated coverage with a buy rating with the target price of 1,600 on KPIT Tech. Now, with strategic partnerships across over 25 OEMs and tier 1 suppliers, KPIT Tech is well positioned to capitalize on rising software complexities in vehicles. Now, the company's revenue is projected to reach $1 billion by FY28 estimated, cloaking 15% CAGR over FY25-28 estimates. The EBIT margin are expected to expand from 17% in FY25 to 19% in FY28 estimates, and supported by scale benefits and acquisitions in CareSoft, which is expected to contribute 5% to the revenues, valuing KPIT Tech at 4x FY27 estimates EPS, implying a peg of 2x on the 19% EPS CAGR over FY25 to 28 estimates. And on the back of that, KPIT Tech is up in a way 2% in trade.
Okay, so KPIT Tech is up 2%, but let's keep it going with the IT sector then. Emphasis, Osho, where do you see the stock headed?
Emphasis again, overall whole IT company is looking very positive to me. Emphasis on the technical front have seen a very strong breakout. In today's trading session, it has given a runaway gap that has been above the zone of previous swing high. So today's low of 2900 should be arguing very well for the counter, and I expect that with the kind of a momentum, a rounding formation breakout can see a very decisive surge in this counter. So on the short term perspective, I expect 3080 to be seen as the first or very short term target, while any breakthrough above 3100 can provide a very strong momentum in the counter in the coming period, and that may lead towards the zone of 32 to 3300 kind of a zone from short term perspective. So one can definitely look for buying opportunity. Technically it is having a kind of a inverted head and shoulder pattern which is having a very higher target, but gradually we can see some momentum coming in the counter. So firstly 3800 followed by 32 to 3300 will be the immediate targets for the counter.
Okay, so that's the word coming in on emphasis, buying opportunity. But let's also put the spotlight on a whole host of insurance counters then. And last week we had this news on GST premium, where premium on GST could be lowered, and now we have some official confirmation where PSU general insurer companies have spoken to the government and they've assured the government that PSU insurers will pass on the benefit of lower GST to policy holders. In fact, companies also plan to set off GST on health insurance with other lines of general insurance businesses, and ITC issue to be set off with other business lines. So that's some important clarification that has come in from the insurance industry, where they are now saying that they will pass on the benefit of lower GST on premium to customers, and the issue of ITC credit, which was a problem last week, will be settled across other lines of businesses. So some important commentary that has come in, but remember, all of these stocks were surging on Friday. Today, of course, we are seeing some bit of profit booking as far as insurance sector is concerned.
All right, so the entire insurance sector is in focus on the back of that. But let me come to you, Rabinder. You picked up Brigade from the Realty Pack. Tell us, what's the news flow here?
Well, as Brigade Enterprise is in focus, where company has launched of its latest residential offering, Brigade Lake Crest in Bangalore, and the Brigade Lake Crest will be developed under a joint development model with a total development area of approximately 9.3 lakh square feet and a projected revenue potential of more than 950 crores. And the project has received a RERA approval as of June 24, 2025, with a scheduled completion in March 2030. So back of this news flow, Brigade Enterprise is in focus and the stock is up approx 1%.
Okay, so Brigade Enterprises, the stock is up nearly 1%. But let's keep it going with the real estate sector then. Prestige Estates, that stock is also sitting with gains of nearly 1.5% as we speak. Osho, 1657, 1700 on the cards, is it for this real estate company?
Yes, overall the whole real estate sector is looking very positive, and specifically Prestige was into a very strong consolidation around the zone of 1620, 1610 in the past 3 trading weeks. So with today's movement, it has been backed by very positive volumes. There has been notable increase in trading volumes, and there has been a consolidation breakout also. So I expect that in the short term period, there is a high possibility for the counter to test the zone of 1720, and while it breaches the zone, then we might witness another rally towards the zone of 1780 to 1800 from a short to medium term perspective. Overall, the outlook is very positive and one can look for buying opportunity in the counter.
All right, so that's the outlook on Prestige Estate. But keeping with the Prestige Group, then Prestige Hospitality Ventures has SEBI's nod for a 2,700 crore IPO. We caught up with Irfan Razak, who's the CMD Prestige Group, to know what to expect in terms of the timeline and how the company plans to utilize the proceeds. Listen into what he had to say.
The hospitality IPO, the team's been working hard. The road shows have been on, and we have been meeting investors and analysts and the whole lot, and the bankers. And I believe that we are more or less at the end of the roadshow season also. Once this is done, it's only we have to go to the regulatory motions. We have to file the RHP and we have to get the final nod, and then of course it's process. So I believe, say, starting from now, 4 weeks from now, we should be done with the IPO, and we'll have a separate company listed under Prestige Estates. Prestige Estates will be the promoter company, and Prestige Hospitality Ventures will be a separately listed hospitality company.
That's the word coming in from the management of Prestige Estates. But on that note, we need to slip into a very short break. We'll discuss many more buzzers on the other side, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Market Fatafat, and we are tracking index rebalancing, where focus is on MSCI August rejig. What are the kind of flows expected, both inflows and outflows? To discuss exactly that, Sharad is now joining us with all the details. Sharad, tell us which stocks will be in focus on the back of MSCI rejig.
The MSCI rejig is scheduled for August 26th, and India is expected to see inflows overall of $250 to $270 million. As per note by Novama Alternative, here are the key stocks which would be in focus. The MSCI Standard Index, the key inclusions, they include Swiggy, Vishal Mega Mart, Hitachi Energies and Vari Energies, all of them ranging between $230 to $293 million. Up next, if you look at the exclusions, two names come, Sona BLW and Thermax, where expected outflows, they come between $117 to $165 million. Now, there's also weightage up happening for certain indices. There we'll see inflows coming in, and that stock is CG Power with $56 million of inflows coming in. Certain stocks where the weightage is down, Eternal being the maximum brunt, $571 million of outflows, while for Havells, JSPL and Asian Paints, it's a low number between $40 to $102 million. Also, let's look at the small cap index. What are the key inclusions? In the MSCI small cap index, they include Sona BLW, Thermax. Exclusion, Bharat Dynamics is there. And if you look at inclusions, there are two other names such as Nexus Select and Inventurous Knowledge as well. But do remember, all these adjustments will happen tomorrow in the last 1 hour of trade, and the effectiveness would be coming in from 27th of August.
All right, so those are the MSCI inclusions and exclusions and the details of that. Thank you so much for joining us for that, that Sharad. But let's move on to the next counter that is in focus today, and that is Tata Tech. Now, Motilal Oswal has come out, has initiated a coverage with a sell rating and the target price of 580 rupees. And they feel that Tata Tech's higher mix of mechanical engineering and on-site delivery leads to lower margins versus peers in high-value software services. And the JV with BMW is scaling well, showcasing focus on next-gen auto software and CDVs, which could gradually improve margins and revenue mix. Now, valuing the Tata Tech at 28x FY27 estimated EPS, it's a 30% discount to KPIT's 40x. Now, citing Tata Tech's low margin from high mechanical exposure to client concentration risks and limited growth visibility despite end-to-end capabilities. On the back of that, note by Motilal Oswal, Tata Tech is in focus today, currently seeing some buying action coming in, trading with gains of 0.4%.
Okay, so Tata Technologies in focus on the back of that, but let's also put the spotlight on Hindalco from the metal sector. The stock is up 1.5% at 715. Osho, where do you see the stock headed?
See, again, Hindalco has seen a very strong movement in the past 3 trading weeks. Last week, there has been some kind of consolidation at the higher zone, but overall, the technical structure remains robust. So I expect that in the short-term perspective, the counter has potential to retest the zone of 735 to 40. There has been a flat kind of a pattern on the daily time frame chart for a target price of nearly 755 to 760, but on the looking at the overall traction in the whole metal and steel space, there is a high possibility for a positive traction in the counter. So on immediate basis, I expect 740 can be seen as the first or immediate target in the short-term time frame, while any dip towards the zone of 690 to 700 should be auguring well for the buyer. So it is at a very favorable risk-reward ratio. One can look for buying opportunities for a higher target of 740 followed by 755.
Okay, so 740, 755, that's the word coming in for Hindalco, and the risk reward is very favorable. But let's also put the spotlight on Apollo Hospitals, and this counter is in focus on the back of a block deal that had taken place on Friday, where Sunita Reddy sold about 18.97 lakh shares at 7,850 rupees per share. So this is a block deal that took place on Friday. And we also have the details of buyers, where Abu Dhabi Investment Authority or ADIA, Axis Mutual Fund, GS Singapore, MS Asia Singapore, Tata Mutual Fund, Kotak Mahindra Life Insurance Companies. These were all the buyers in that block deal that took place on Friday. And Sunita Reddy, a part of the promoter group, sold nearly 19 lakh shares on Friday. So on the back of this block deal, the stock continues to remain in focus today as well.
All right, Apollo Hospitals on the back of that block deal, but that was the last talk of the day. We're completely timed out. Osho and Rabinder, thank you so much for taking the time out and taking through us all the buzzers in trade today. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Market Fatafat. Ashish and I will take a leave. Thank you so much for tuning in. Closing trades is coming up next.